Hello and welcome to the Virtual Jewish Thought of the Week. This is Rabbi Dan Lewin speaking to you from hot Dallas, Texas. And this week what we're going to discuss is a message that we can derive from one word, one title of the Torah portion. The name of this week's Torah portion is Balak. And before discussing what this name represents, it's important to note that in Jewish tradition, names and titles are not arbitrary. They are significant. And so much so that the Talmud says that parents should be careful not to name their child after a wicked person or a person with bad qualities, because the name of the wicked should rot and it has an influence on the child, so therefore it's a bad idea. Now, the question we run into here is the title chosen for the weekly Torah portion is Balak. Balak was an individual who's described as being one of the worst enemies, one of the worst haters of the Jewish people in all of history. The story begins when the Jewish people are now on their way to the land of Israel, and they have to pass through different lands, asking permission, can we enter? If they're refused entrance or refused the ability to pass through, then they have to engage in battle. So they have a few battles. Now they find themselves at the land of Moab. The Moabites are nervous. They do some research and they find out that this extraordinary success of a small nation of the children of Israel cannot be due just to the military power, because they used to be slaves and they are not equipped. They're just a tiny nation. What is their secret power? It has to do with the power of prayer, of speech. So this leader, this king of Moab called Balak, he says, if so, let me try to combat that. And he hires this evil prophet, magician, sorcerer called Bilam, and he pays him to curse the Jewish people. That's where the story begins. So the question is, every time we go to the synagogue, we look in the Chumash, we see the name Balak, we see the name of one of the worst enemies of the Jewish people, someone that tried to destroy the Jewish people, to hire someone to curse them. And why is it that this was the name that was chosen for all time to represent this section in the Torah? Couldn't a better name be chosen? I mean, after all, what is it supposed to remind us of? And that's the key to the message of this week, which is the power of transformation. If we look at what happened, Bilam, this evil sorcerer, 3 times stands up on a mountain from different vantage points, and he looks down at the camp of Bnei Yisrael, of the Jewish people, and he proceeds to try and curse them. But each time, instead of a curse coming out of his mouth, he looks at them and he is struck by their beauty. He sees the way that their tents are facing, their modesty, their refinement. And instead of a curse, comes a blessing. The most famous of these blessings actually made its way into our prayer service. At the very beginning of the service, we say the words that Bilam uttered, which is Ma toivu, how great, Oyhalecha Yaakov, or your tents, O Yaakov, Mishkanoisecha, your dwelling places, Yisrael. So what began as a terrible situation, potentially damaging situation, evil intention, ended up causing many blessings for the Jewish people. And the name of the Parsha, every time we see this name, we are reminded of this idea of transformation, of changing bitter into sweet, darkness into light, curse into blessing. 2 applications or messages that we can derive from this little episode is, number 1, when it comes time to people. There are people in our lives that are, unfortunately, when we are very successful, they are jealous, they wish us harm, and we feel it. We know that we have, without getting into extreme enemies, just on a simple level, we have people that don't wish us well. What we can learn from this is that when we go about our business and do what we do best, and we stay humble and refined and noble, and we don't pay attention, even the enemy, even the person that doesn't wish us well, can at times look and see the beauty of what we do, and at that opportune moment can even end up admiring and saying, how beautiful are your tents, just like Bilam looked and he wanted to curse the Jewish people, but he was struck by their beauty, and at that moment he changed from an enemy into an admirer. So too, when we go about our way and we perform well and we stay humble, even those people can sometimes be caught off guard. That's a message in regard to other people. In regard to general situations, there's a principle that every descent, every time we fall or we encounter ourselves in a period of darkness, in a situation that looks threatening and damaging, and we say, like, how did I get myself into this? I made so many mistakes and I feel despair. I don't think I'll be able to get out of this. We're reminded of the power of transformation, that sometimes what looks like a curse, if we use it in the right way, we can end up transforming it into not only that it wasn't harmful, but it ends up being a blessing for us long term in our life. So that is the thought for the week, the idea, the power to transform a force that comes against you and to change it into a force that works with you. Thank you for watching, for your time. If you like this, please get the word out and forward it to your friends and family, anyone you think would be interested. If you would like to sponsor or dedicate a video to somebody, please email me at the address below, and I look forward to seeing you next week.